Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Last week, I talked about the shepherds visiting the baby Jesus just after he'd been born. This week, I'm going to think about some more people who visited, the wise men or kings. There's something really special for me about this visit. The shepherds were local. They were Jews, the same nationality as Jesus. The wise men weren't. They weren't local, and they weren't even from the same country. They travelled a long distance from a country far to the east to get there. And they wouldn't have come alone. There was probably quite a large party with them. These were important, influential, educated, wealthy men. They were also foreign. They were unfamiliar with the local customs, unsure of the geography of the area, and they assumed that the authorities would be aware of a major thing like the birth of a baby, especially one that they believed one day would be a king. Now, the Jews had some strict laws about interacting with foreigners. They had a name for foreigners, Gentiles they called them. Later on in Jesus' life, he was going to challenge a lot of those values in Jewish society. You see that whilst Jesus was born a Jew and lived as a Jew, the things he was going to do later in his life were not just for the Jews, but rather were going to impact and change the whole world. I suppose I could put Jesus into a little bit of a context for you. The Bible tells us that we humans basically made a mess of the world. More than that, we messed up our original relationship with God. Not you or me personally, but collectively, all of us. We do our own thing. We think about ourselves first. No matter how good we try to be, we always get something wrong. And that isn't what God wanted the world to be like. But given that it was broken, God came up with a plan to repair the damage, to make it possible to restore that original relationship between us and God, and ultimately bring everything back together. Jesus is central to that plan. Jesus is God. Jesus is also human. I know that sounds complicated or maybe even a little mad, and now isn't the time for me to try and explain it. I can assure you that any explanation I did give you, it still wouldn't fully do justice to it. But that's part of what faith is, believing things without fully understanding them. Anyway, Jesus needed to be born. He needed to live, and later he needed to die in order to make it possible for all those wrong things that we've done to be forgiven. And what's important is that that had to happen in order for the relationship with God and humans to be restored. Now, here's the really good bit. The Jews had for a long time worshipped God and believed that God was going to do amazing things to save them. What they hadn't quite got hold of was that God wasn't just on their side. God was on the side of every human who had ever and would ever live. So, whilst the Jews had a special place in God's plan, they weren't the only ones to benefit from it. And that is why the visit of the wise men is so special for me. They represent me. And in fact, they represent everyone who isn't a Jew. You see, even when Jesus was a baby, anyone from anywhere in the world could be welcomed by him and be part of what he was going to do. And so still today, the invitation to find out about Jesus, even to get to know Jesus, is available to everyone. Whatever you've done in the past, wherever you live, whatever nationality you might be, it's there. Family Christmas Trail. You might have seen it around. If you've not done it yet, why not head out and do the Family Christmas Trail? That's a way to travel a little bit and to learn some more about Jesus. As you watch the stories and figure out the puzzles that you'll find, just find the lamppost, scan the QR code, and everything else is taken care of. Don't forget that there's a goodie bag for you waiting at the end when you've done all of them. Personally, I think the chocolate in the goodie bag is probably the highlight, but maybe that's just me. Maybe you'll be joining in with BBC Doorstep Carols this week. If you're local, don't forget to pop round to number 44 just beforehand and get your free hot chocolate and box of mince pies. If you are joining in with them, maybe take a closer look at the words, because they tell us even more about the story of Jesus. Another chance to enjoy a proper carol service this year is happening on Friday at Trinity Park. There's a free carol service being put together by churches from all over Ipswich, including ourselves. There's details of how you can find a ticket for that on our website as well. We pray that wherever you're from, whoever you are, and whatever you may do day by day, God will bless you this Christmas. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday.